Hello, and welcome back to Fire's Gaming. My name is Ben, and today we're going to continue on with Suzerain. So last time out we started working on some education reforms, as well as tried to negotiate with the members of our party to help get our reforms package through. So, let's go and pick it up here. So I didn't really feel like editing it out, so I just went ahead and cut through the loading screen for the new churn. But this churn is called Balance of Power in Eastern Maricopa. So yeah, I don't think there's any reports. Nah, just a couple newspapers, so let's check these out. So, from the Radical, Archaic State of Swordland's Conscription Laws. Dear reader, I ask you this. What year are we in? 1880? 1920? The matter I'm writing about is, of course, mandatory military service again. In times when there are no active wars, why do we still need to have these archaic conscription laws? Let me answer that. It's because somebody profits from it. Not only does this make the warmongering soulless happy, it also works out for large defense corporations. The oligarchs are now swimming in money while we still have to send our children away when they come of age. We are in the modern age. If we want to modernize Swordland to catch up to superpowers, if we want to lose his militaristic identity so that we can intellectually prosper, mandatory conscription laws need to go. Awesome. And Geopolitica. Reigns meet with Smolak and Van Horten. Swordland is embarking on a great geopolitical gamble with the new trade initiative organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The hope is the solidification of relations with the old ally Agnolia and the troublesome neighbor Valen, with the aim of regaining some of the regional diplomatic influence the country used to have. Each of these countries have different agendas, which create some difficulties for President Reign. PM Van Horten was elected through a powerful democratic movement, wants to reimagine trade with Swordland, while President Smolak and Valen is looking for new foreign investments and security cooperation against rebellious British movements at the border. Lesbia and Vogsland are watching Swordland's actions very closely and are sure to react to any sort of balance of power shifts. Cool. Alright, well, let's see. Whatever, let's go to Whole Sword. Ooh, and there's a report too, so let's start with that. Ministry of Health discusses privatization. The Ministry of Health has begun working on a health report with a proposal to allow privatization in the health system to potentially generate new resources for the ministry. Minister Bennewall is personally overseeing the discussion and the report with top aides, including members from the National Business Council. Coolio. I don't think we're going to privatize healthcare, but, you know, that's fine. Alright. And then we have this Religious Harmony Bill. For the purposes of increasing religious harmony and unity, the following laws are established in religious affairs. Section 1 of the RHB will ensure that the Day of Dissension ceremony in the Arch Sanctuary of Deers shall from now on only hold sermons in the Swordish language. Section 2 will forbid sanctuaries from holding sermons in Bludish unless they receive approval from the Archpriests of Swordland. Section 3 will enforce that all priests applying to be state-sanctioned have Swordish descendants able to receive their salaries and pensions. Cool. Alright, so that's some nice racist nonsense, and the guide says to veto it because if we sign it, it might result in a Bludish uprising, and I don't really want to deal with a revolt. So let's just veto it. Cool, which gets us a newspaper. From the Radical, President Reign protects religious freedoms. President Reign has recently vetoed the outrageous Religious Harmony Bill. The bill is aiming to limit the freedoms of British people in Swordland. The MP to propose this bill was, of course, Casaro Keebner, the leader of the NFP himself. Mr. Keebner has never stopped his attacks on British people, and we are sure that he will continue his racist onslaught in his attempts to further divide the country. President Reign's decision to veto this discriminatory bill, which was a clear attack on religious and personal freedoms, will be welcomed by bleeds and swords alike. Awesome. The journal is just saying we vetoed that. So I guess let's head over to Conriat. See, United Cantana offers aid. The Foreign Minister of United Cantana has offered a substantial amount of financial, logistical, and equipment support to help our country. In return, United Cantana requests refuel and repair access to the Conriat Naval Base whenever they require. Chairman Leon Millenniev has sent personal assurances that this agreement is for peaceful purposes only. Alright, well, I think I want to accept the aid. Yeah, the guide says to accept the aid as well, so we're going to accept it. So there we go. +1 budget. Very nice. Takes up to -1. Okay, an economy overview. We have investments from United Cantana as a green thing. Many canton and state companies are opening new branches, expanding their existing operations, and forming storage-based subsidiaries. Cool. And military, United Katana give naval base access, which is also an orange situation. Which seems like it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Perfect. Alright. So I guess let's head to Whole Sword and check out this report here. Condemnation from Arcasia. The Arcasian ambassador in Whole Sword condemned the financial deal between Swordland and United Katana, criticizing President Rain for inviting United Katana to meddle in Eastern Marcopan affairs. He announced that President Walker will do whatever it takes to defend its sphere from the encroaching threat of millennialism. Cool beans, dude. Have fun with that. Okay, and we have a call from Gus Monge. I was sipping my first cup of coffee for the day when the phone lit up and rang. I swore under my breath. I thought my schedule was clear for at least half an hour. I picked up the phone. Mr. President, how are you doing on this fine day, if I may ask? Fine as well. You? I'm good, because business is sort of running as usual from my end. Thanks for asking. I'm calling you because I received a call from CEO of Armadine Industries, Aaron Bridges, about the recent initial public offering on the Benfi City Stock Exchange. As you might have guessed, it's about our little venture investment of 1,000 shares, worth nearly $1 million. I'm very pleased to say that we've made gains. The shares have doubled in price at the IPO and VCSE, and we will soon receive the profits made from the investment. Isn't that great? Yeah, great news. How much did we gain? You'll love it. The total we've made, nearly 2 million ren. I bet that right now you're wishing you bought more stocks earlier, right? It was a good start for sure. Yeah, it definitely was. I assure you, this will pale in comparison to what we'll do together in the future. The money will be transferred to your personal bank account shortly. This is the beginning of a good partnership. Keep it up. I think so too. Goodbye for now. The line dropped. Bam. Alright, we're up to 4 personal wealth there. That's pretty good. Alright, I'm happy with that. Okay, so we got a couple of exclamation points. And looks like 1 newspaper. So let's hit the news. From The Economists, Armadine stocks jumped to nearly double. The CEO of Armadine, Aaron Bridges, announced the IPO this morning at the Benfi City Stock Exchange, with the opening value of the stocks doubling due to high demand by the market. Images of celebration were visible at the Venture Times newspaper. A new era for portable radios has begun for the average citizen, with major advances in military technology pushing civilian technology forward. Fantastic. Alright. So let's head to Whole Sword here for a briefing on the status of immigration regulation. We are in the middle of a meeting in the palace about our immigration policy. The ensuing discussion quickly became heated.
I don't think so, Mr. Vichy. It just doesn't make any sense to me that a foreign citizen should come before a Swordist citizen in Swordland.
Well said. My analysis is also in line with this, especially during the economic recession. We are giving Swordist jobs to migrants from other countries. What about our own people? Immigrants are the reason our economy is not completely unsalvageable. Look at Agnoy and immigrants in Ireland. They've revitalized the whole region and in turn boost the economy of the entire country. Simon can attest to that. Yeah, statistically speaking, allowing immigrants to become part of the workforce contributes to our economy, but I agree that the current situation is very nuanced. Well, with that said, we can't just tighten our immigration policy and expect the economy to stay the same. We need to put our economy and the recession at the forefront. Thankfully, we've just started receiving financial aid from United Katana.
I can't believe we're accepting financial aid from dirty communists. What next, letting a child murder or buy us lunch? Concerning warships and cutter, my father will be rolling in his grave.
Don't be dramatic, you old douchebag. We need to be friendly with our potential allies.
Allies? Those communists? I'd rather die.
Well said, Mr. Lancia. Gentlemen, can we please get back on topic? Alright, sorry, Mr. Vichy. As I was saying before I was interrupted, look at the superpowers. Do you see them closing off their borders? Why do you think their economies are in such good shape? They're in their current state because they welcome immigration and use it to their advantage.
Cool, I thought I clicked the other one, but that's fine, whatever. We need to consider the impact on the economy.
Now, our money flow should be our utmost concern if we want to have the capability to accomplish actual change. We need a decision, but before we move on, Mr. President, do you have any questions about the current state of immigration?
Yeah, like, what is the current legal status of immigrants?
Currently, all except immigrants are given a work permit on arrival so they can work and contribute to the economy of Swordland. There's currently no limit on the number of immigrants accepted. However, the number has remained stable in the past years.
Despite the laws, the fact is many immigrants illegally work for corporations. That's the main issue with immigration right now, not the immigration itself. Nonsense. If not for the unlimited amount of immigration, we wouldn't be in this state.
How many immigrants live here? Official numbers show that we have between 2 and 3 million immigrants residing in Swordland.
Even excluding the undocumented aliens on this, it's a very substantial amount. The primary issue is the strife they cause between us fortunate Swordlish citizens and themselves. Including them in the workforce, we benefit everybody, including unemployed swords. More taxes means more services.
Cool. How do they usually arrive here? There are 3 major paths they choose. First one is the Island Technoid border. Second is the Birch of Valen border, and the third is the Thorin coast.
Arknoy is a large group. It's a light border over there, although recently political fugitives and Falklands have been crossing the Grey Sea by boats along our coast.
Politically persecuted basic refugees sent to use the dangerous mountain passes to the Valen border. Many of them also have bluish blood.
Alright, well, let's move on here and see what we can do about the immigration situation.
Yeah, very well.
David Vici opened his dossier, stamped with the seal of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Before we make any decisions, I have to remind you, during the elections we promised to keep our immigration laws relaxed, which I think is the right course of action.
I disagree. We're supposed to control and reduce the negative effects of immigration like crime and subversion.
I see your point, Yosef, but the economy certainly benefits from more immigration. Interlord, on the other hand, suffers immensely. We should tighten the laws to prevent further chaos.
David sighed wearily. This is going nowhere. Alright, well, if we decide to tighten immigration, what does that entail? We would have to pose quotas and connected to that, strict border control.
On top of allowing our economy to take a hit. Mr. Hall, surely the well-being of our citizens and our channel security will more than compensate for any downturn in the markets.
Agreed. Swordlish citizens should take priority.
Cool. Well, then, what are the consequences of keeping our immigration policy relaxed? Aside from keeping us on the path to prosperity, modernity, and continuous improvement, not much. Our current system is good for our era. We also have the capacity.
This will allow us to continue preventing investments from foreign countries, which will in turn keep our trade steady. We would be more trustworthy partners. Stability draws money. Stability? What stability? We're already seeing clashes between our people and foreign interlopers. On the contrary, the only way we can achieve stability is through tightening our immigration policy. Can't let any of those dirty foreigners in, ruining our blood.
That was good.
Yeah, you heard the latest Swordland first.
I'm ready to make a decision. Yes. Everyone leaned forward, eager to hear my response. Well, we're going to ignore the old racists, and we're just going to keep immigration relaxed. I'm glad you made the right choice.
We were forced to handle new ways of migrants regularly. Our border posts aren't ready.
Not only that, we've just abandoned the native swords who need our support the most. Also, this will bring a new tide of refugees from Valen. Burge is already a difficult region to manage.
This is shameful.
We're not leaving Swordland unprotected. It's a logical decision.
You're wrong about this. There's a reason why this country survived a century of revolutions.
I hope hard-working swords will see this as positively as you do, Mr. President.
Anything else, Mr. President? I mean, can we, do something about all the weird old racists in our cabinet? No? Alright, well, in that case, I want everybody here to be used to the new changes. This is our new direction. Ministers gathered their documents and rose from the chairs, some with frowns on their faces. I'm looking forward to the upcoming trade talks. Peter and I have been visiting Salpart and Rockfit's preparation.
I'll be coming along to talk with the economy minister, looking forward to the potential partnership. If we're finished, I need to head off and get the ministry to work on the new policy.
Same here. Our border units need to be informed and prepared.
Yes, we're finished. Get the hell out of here. The ministers dispersed. Nice. Alright.
That might have been a few too many extra comments, but I don't care. I entertained myself. Alright, so we got a newspaper here from Swordsland today. Financial aid was the answer to recession. Recently, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced that Swordsland will be taking financial aid from United Cantana. At times, sacrifices need to be made for the greater good. This may appear as an issue at first, but a great leader knows better. It comes as no surprise, President Rain has decided to make a small sacrifice in return for helping Swordsland achieve prosperity once again. This has been only a logical outcome, and there's nothing else left for us to do but to applaud President Rain for his success making Swordsland a better place. I don't really know if that solved the recession or not, but, you know, what do I know? I mean, I've only got this economy thing that says we're still kind of terrible. But, you know, that's okay. Yep, looks like I got a thing of the country overview. In order, we've got streamlined immigration, which is an orange thing. Saying the immigration policy closed loopholes, reduced illegal migrants, and streamlined immigration process. Cool. That sounds like it should be a green thing, not a neutral thing, but whatever, I guess. But in the green side of things, nationwide protests quelled, which is obviously good. Okay, alright, so back to Holsword here for a report from the Ministry of Interior. The Ministry of Interior reports that the restructuring of the ministry has been completed with success after the increase of its budget. According to the report, some portion of the budget was transferred specifically to local police forces that are fighting against organized crime in northern Swordsland, which have already made successful gains in the war against crime. The ministry reports that the two major business rings of the two crime families, Cornelli and Skinner, have been shut down, and several high-ranking members have been arrested. With the implementation of the Witness Protection Program, the Swords Police report that they are confident in eliminating said crime families in the short future. Fantastic. Alright, so looks like the only thing is to head to Earlery. So let's do that. We're heading to Pater's private party here. Okay. Far from becoming accustomed to my work as president, I only felt more and more snowed under as the weeks passed. It had been ages since I'd had any time to myself. I was starting to lose my focus, and my temper was growing increasingly thin. Pater was the first to realize I needed a break. After much cajoling, he finally persuaded me to come to a meeting of his new venture, Gentlemen's Club. For the past few months, he'd been hosting a salon of sorts, not just for politicians and businessmen, but also for artists, entertainers, people of taste, he told me with a smile on his face. There is only one rule, no wives or girlfriends allowed, hence the name. And so I found myself in front of his new luxury villa in Earlery. Very loud jazz music emanated from inside. I waited and waited. Finally, Pater opened the door. I could smell the whiskey on his breath. Anson, finally. Now the real party can start. Come on in. As soon as I entered, Pater closed the door and turned to the small crowd. Gentlemen, a moment of your time, please. I now have the privilege to present to you the man himself, the fourth president of Swordsland, Mr. Anton Rain. I had known him for long enough to understand he was more than a little drunk. He made an elaborate mock curtsy as I passed him and walked into the room. The music stopped, and I felt everyone's eyes on me. Thank you, Pater. What's next? A choir? A marching band? No, I'm seeing those for a funeral. Pater laughed very hard at his own grim joke before continuing. Dear members, please give a warm welcome to our very special guest. If I may, Anton. Here, take this. He handed me a glass of whiskey and put his hand on my shoulder. We all know why we've gathered here tonight, to celebrate life, to have a brief escape from our tumultuous professions. I personally don't know any better cure for stress than a little drink. Only a little one? A few people in the crowd chuckled, and some raised their glasses. Now, the tradition dictates that as club president, I have to remind you of house rules. There are 3. No politics, no wives, no one sober. Cheers. Peter drank the whiskey in his glass in one go. Screw it, let's pound it too. I followed suit and drained my glass. It was immediately replenished. Anton Ray might have the power to make presidential decrees, but I paid a victor in the president's club, and I declared this body started. Music, go! The band started up again. After greeting the crowd around me, I felt a hand on my shoulder. Let me show you around. We walked through the corridors of his mansion. Statues and paintings lined the stark white walls. An arched window provided a view of the neatly manicured grounds, complete with a swimming pool. A grand Lesbian marble staircase led up to the second story. Pater gestured out at the massive crystal chandelier hanging overhead. What chandelier was made in the 18th century? Can you believe it? There's even a hedge maze in the garden. 18th century chandelier? A hedge maze? It's a little much, isn't it? Come on, Anton, you only live once. I'll let you on a secret. Gus Manchet has a lot of contacts in real estate. He brokered a great deal for me. You must be here tonight. I can introduce you if you like. Wait, why do I need to be introduced to Gus? We've only been working with the dude for, like, a year now. He's in our cabinet. I guess Peter's a little too drunk. But let's go for the proper communist answer here. Living a lavish lifestyle, my country suffers. This is not for me. I understand completely, so I've donated 30% of my vice presidential salary to charities. Really? That's what says in my tax forms, at least. What a douchebag. We continued walking until we circled back to where we had started. So, what do you think of my little hideaway? I mean, frankly, dude, I find it kind of disgusting. You're jealous, are we? Like I said, you could have a place just like this. Anyway, let's go back to the party. I arranged for some caviar to be brought in from Lesbia. You're gonna love it. He opened the door to the main hall, and we rejoined the other guests. The music was louder now, and the mood decidedly more inebriated. Cocktail waitresses were carrying around plates of canapes, wearing dresses that left little to the imagination. So this is what you've been hiding from Evelyn. No one's hiding anything. She knows about these gatherings. He averted my gaze for a second before calling over one of the waitresses. She was in her mid-20s, wearing red lipstick, her blonde hair neatly tied into a ponytail. On her plate were toast points, slathered in lesbian caviar Peter had mentioned. I took a bite. It was rich, salty, tasting of pure seaside. I could almost hear the sound of waves and seagulls. Lesbian caviar, best in the world, I'm telling you, Anton, there are few pleasures in life that are this. As the waitress left us to serve another attendee, she flashed a quick smile at Peter over her shoulder. He smiled back a little too broadly. Essential? His eyes were still fixated on her, with an expression I remembered from our many nights together as students. Oh, look, there's Gus. Why don't you go talk to him? I'll be back shortly. Peter, I'm warning you, don't make a mistake. Mistake? What are you talking about? I'm just going to the washroom. I'll be back before you know it. He left the room and I headed over to Gus. Gus Manger was standing next to a couple of men that I recognized as banking industry magnates. As I approached, all of them turned to me and bowed their heads. Mr. President, toast our new member, everyone. Gus and I clinked our glasses as people around us raised theirs. How long have you been a member? Since the beginning. It's a fun gathering and quite lucrative at times. You might have heard from Peter that I arranged a deal for this mansion. He also told me you might be interested in potential opportunities such as, well, this. He opened his arms, gesturing at our opulent surroundings. Well, let's take a walk. The balcony is an amazing view of Hurlery. We left the room and made our way to the balcony. On the way, he took out 2 cigars and held one out for me. I took the cigar and started smoking it. Mixed with the taste of whiskey, it was delicious. We went out to the balcony. All of Hurlery was at our feet. From this vantage point, I was able to see how expansive the building plot was. The swimming pool and the hedge maze were visible from here. Leaning over the railing, I admired the view for a moment before Gus spoke up. I know you're wondering about the deal Peter made. In a nutshell, thanks to my network, he was able to procure this house for half the asking price, which would have been impossible under any other circumstances. I'd like to make a similarly profitable arrangement myself. Now, let me be direct. I would have been delighted to work with you, but unfortunately it won't be possible this time. Not for me or my contacts, at least. Why is that? There have been some issues in my business, Mr. Rain. Nothing life or death, but the hard work I put on the canceled railway took up so much of my time that I have had to postpone some projects. I'm sure you understand. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Depending on what you do with some of the oligarchs and stuff, that'll totally screw you out of getting any extra money from Gus. But that's alright, dude. I understand. He downed his whiskey. Now, if you'll excuse me now, I'll go refresh my drink. See you around. He left to rejoin the party. Alone on the balcony, I looked out over Hurlery. Although I do have to question what the point in even meeting with Gus was if he's just like, yeah, I can't help you. That seemed kind of pointless. But that's okay. Suddenly, I heard a rustling from the hedge maze below. I looked down and saw its silhouette. Two silhouettes, actually, so close together they seemed to be entangled. I squinted and tried to get a better look. It was definitely two people kissing, but I couldn't see either of their faces. I returned to the party and spent some time mingling with the other guests, engaging them in small talk about the businesses, their children, their relationships. Around an hour later, Peter showed up next to me. See, I told you I'd be back before you knew it. That was like the longest dump anyone's ever taken, bro. Like, seriously, where were you? I told you I was in the washroom. Why? I'll be direct. Were you the waitress? What? No, how could you think that? I'm a married man. Just asking. Hey, you can have it if you want to. Anyway, want a drink? Because I do. He poured us 2 large glasses of whiskey and we drank them in one go. Throughout the party, we drank and drank, just like old times. I woke up the next day with a pounding headache and more than a few regrets. My memories of the evening were hazy, but there's one important detail that kept coming back to me. The red lipstick on Peter's collar. But maybe my memory is playing tricks on me. I mean, probably not. The dude's kind of a dick. Alright, let's see. So we've got, looks like one report, a couple newspapers. Let's just start with the report, because I'm already right here. Alright, there's 2 of them. Even better. So, HSU fire investigation suspended. A lack of further evidence from the investigation into the fire that occurred at the Holsworth State University Archives has caused the case to be suspended until further notice from police and SID. The cordon has been lifted. That's not weirdly suspicious at all, but okay. And Holsword posts connection to Young Swords. The chief of police, Carl Greiser, reported that Young Swords sympathizers, as well as several old members of the terrorist organization, are currently working for the newspaper Holsword Post. Investigations are underway. Fantastic. I don't like the Holsword Post anyway. And we got 3 newspapers here. So let's start out with Swordland Today. President Rain saves the day. According to information we've received, President Rain has decided that he'll veto the Religious Harmony Bill. The bill itself has the words harmony in it. However, don't be fooled by the name. The proposal prepared by Kasara Keebner took a stab at the heart of the Baluch populace by banning the Baluch language from being spoken at religious assemblies. Not for President Rain, this bill would have come to pass. Every single Baluch should be grateful for the exemplary decision by the President. Cool. And from the Radical, police violence in the old capital. After the arrest of the vice president of the Young Swords Cultural Centers, a group of teenagers started protesting in front of the earlier police department, shouting, "Police are fighting for the wrong side." Within a few hours, a small protest pulled a lot of people to join in, which prompted the police forces to intervene. We, or our cultural organization, pose no threat to the national security of Swordland, or to any other foreign country or state, protesters said, waving a flag of the Kingdom of Swordland. We have not and do not plan on engaging in acts of terror or violence. The group had dispersed after the arrival of the riot police, and several arrests were made. According to reports from the scene, many protesters were beaten up by police, with at least 20 being critically injured. Alright. And from Geopolitico, Swordland accepts financial aid from United Cantana. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has announced that Swordland will accept financial aid from United Cantana. So far, it appears that President Rain has followed through with his campaign promise to look eastwards towards United Cantana. His intention is to take a side in the international arena and align Swordland with a major superpower will certainly have lasting effects in the region. Although, on the surface, this may appear as simply a boost to Swordland's crippled economy, the real motive is still unclear. President Rain's move might be signaling a potential alliance between Swordland and other countries in the CSP, which makes an alliance with Fox an improbable outcome. That is certainly the eventual goal there. Alright, so I guess let's head to Benfi for the opening of the Benfi Arts Festival. Our motorcade slowly made its way towards the magnificent Benfi High Arts Center. Night was falling, and the festival was about to begin. I flipped through the brochure that had been given to us at the hotel. On the front page, there's the face of Curtin Lest, Mayor of Anarcha. He is a Benfi native who had a long-standing relationship with the city's current mayor and had been personally invited to make tonight's opening speech. The Benfi Festival was one of the biggest events of the year. It had originally marked the start of the annual religious pilgrimage, a weeks-long journey still undertaken by devout Nurists. But today is better known as a cultural celebration that drew thousands of revelers to the city. There are film screenings, concerts, theater and dance performances, art exhibitions, and celebrity-studded nightly galas. The opening ceremonies were broadcast on TV and watched by millions. As the car slowed, a coterie of reporters and security guards rushed to meet us. I turned my attention to Monica. Since I'd refused to let her make the opening speech, her attitude toward me had changed. She now only spoke to me if I asked her a question or if there was something important concerning the children. Will you ever forgive me? I told you my reasons. I know, and I understand. It's just going to take me some time. She clearly did not want to pursue this topic any further. As soon as Serge opened the door, we were enveloped by the roar of the crowd. The next few minutes were a blur of handshakes, photos, and reporters' questions. The onlookers cheered as we walked the red carpet to the newly built Arts Center. We followed the guards through the cavernous white halls until we came to a set of arched doors leading to the auditorium. We waited outside as security did a quick sweep of the area, then headed in. I had been asked to make a quick set of remarks, including introducing Curtin Lust. I beckoned Monica to join me on the podium. I'm going to find my seat. Monica brushed past me, took her seat in the front row, and crossed her arms. I walked alone to the podium. I spoke for just a minute, reading a paragraph my speechwriter turned out about the importance of the festival in Benfi Festival. I concluded by inviting Curtin Lust, the mayor of Monica, to the podium. I stepped down and joined Monica in the front row. Her arms were still folded. Welcome to the first day of the Benfi Festival. He paused for a moment to let the crowd cheer, and his eyes briefly met mine. I nodded. This is a night for the people of Benfi, indeed for the people of Solden, to put aside their differences and come together in celebration. Yet, as we unite for the festivities, we must remember the real reason we're gathered here. The crowd fell silent. The people were giving their full attention to what he had to say. This festival is founded around the principles of our church religion unity. Yet, over the years, it's been severed from its sacred roots and become something else, something more perverse. An excuse for public drunkenness and grotesque displays of the flesh. An occasion for young women to parade their bodies and engage in lascivious behavior. As he went on, I could see Monica become increasingly agitated. What in the hell is he talking about? Lascivious behavior? What century does he think we live in? I don't know, probably like, the 1300s. I don't know, he's an old jackass, just let him be. Monica turned back to watching speech, a frown on her face. Perversion hidden under the guise of art is not befitting the beautiful city of... The crowd was becoming restless. Many of the younger attendees were murmuring in disagreement, while a few of the older ones were nodding vigorously. As I said, perversion hidden under the guise of art is not to be... Enough. The hall fell silent. Monica rose and continued. Mr. Les, it's not young women who are disgraced this fine festival, but you and your backwards puritanical attitudes who've been holding this country back for far too long. I don't know if this is a smart idea or not, but I'm just going to let her go for a minute. I stayed in my seat and watched the events unfold. Monica turned to face the audience, speaking loud enough to be heard without a microphone. Women of Sorley, we must not let people like Mr. Les use religion as justification to demean and oppress us. Our time has come. Shocked gasps ran through the crowd. A few people rose and applauded. Curtin Les waited to speak. I think Mrs. Rain is forgetting her place. What do you think my place is, Mr. Les? The kitchen? This festival's not about your retrograde traditions. We're living in modern times now. It's 1954. And it isn't your place to decide how the people of Benfi, especially the women, should be celebrating their own festival. I kept watching in silence. I looked at the podium and see Curtin Les' piercing gaze on me. There would surely be a price to pay for this. Mr. President, could you please control your wife before she embarrasses herself any further? Alright, I guess I should probably rein her in, because I think I need his support later. Monica, we've been over this. Now's not the time. Sit down, please. The crowd was in an uproar. I had to lean over to catch Monica's next words. I'm so sorry, Anton. Next time I'll stay in the goddamn kitchen. She sat back down, seething. Curtin's voice filled the hall. Benfi has always been a beacon of culture, tradition, and religion. Many battles have been fought over this precious city. Army after army has tried to claim it for their own, but we fought back and won each time. We stand here thanks to strong men who are able to protect their families, their lands, their ways of living. Every day I praise God that we have succeeded so far. Scattered applause broke out from some of the older members of the audience. I leaned over to Monica. He sounds more like a priest than a politician. Monica said nothing, her gaze fixed forward. Yet the traditions that form the very fabric of our society being tested, even as I speak. He looked pointedly at Monica. We must stay true to our values so that Solden can prevail, so that Benfi can prevail. Without these at the forefront, I am convinced that Solden will continue to be the greatest nation in the world. I invite every single one of you to celebrate our roots and our traditions at this holy Benfi Festival. I hereby declare the festival open. Praise God, praise Solden, praise Benfi. Morgna Vescore. Vector and Sistar. Most of the people in the hall finished the decades-old saying, including me. Monica's lips moved, but she didn't say the words out loud. He exited the stage as the band struck up the official festival anthem. I spent the rest of the evening alternately watching the festivities and conversing with local politicians. By the time we got back to the hotel, I was exhausted. But thanks to the festivities still raging outside, and the sound of Monica tossing and turning beside me, I couldn't sleep at all. Nice, alright. Looks like we got a few things popping up here, but that seems like it's a good place I need to go call for today. So, as always, thank you all very much for watching. I hope to see you next time.